Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving right into a really fascinating concept, a humane future in Hastings, governing the AI age locally. We're going to explore how one small, vibrant city right here in Minnesota, yeah, Hastings, might just hold the absolute key to our technological future. We'll look at how a local roadmap created here can help communities literally everywhere figure out how to govern the AI age.
Okay, just picture this for a second. A child is sitting at a kitchen table right here in Hastings typing into a chatbot one of humanity's oldest, deepest questions. Why am I here? And boom, in seconds, they get this incredibly eloquent, warm, and balanced answer. It's a pretty wild image, right? I mean, the machine sounds more patient than a tired parent after a long workday, and honestly, more confident than an ancient philosopher.
But here's the thing. There is this huge, stark contrast between a machine's perfectly engineered confidence and the messy, beautiful reality of biological life in a river town. Think about it. That incredibly confident answer, it's coming from a system that has literally never been born. It's never scraped a knee, never stood on the riverbank watching the Mississippi ice break apart in the spring, and it's certainly never worried about paying rent. The crazy part isn't just that a machine can answer the question, it's that it can sound so absolutely certain, way before we humans have even agreed on what it should be allowed to sound certain about. And you know, that uncertainty is having a very real impact right now. According to a February 2026 Pew Research survey, while about a quarter of adults use AI daily, a staggering 63% believe it's just advancing way too quickly. So our use of these tools and our unease with them, they are rising right alongside each other. People are genuinely worried about a system that's so useful, so perfectly personable, that we might just slowly forget to ask who is actually responsible for it.
Moving on to Section 1, the Human-Scale Laboratory. Why exactly does this conversation belong in Hastings?
Well, this unease isn't just some abstract problem for distant tech companies in Silicon Valley to figure out. No, it's a profound community issue. Hastings is basically the perfect human-scale laboratory. We've got a population of over 22,000, and it's a deeply intergenerational place. We're talking nearly 22% of folks under 18 and about 20% over 65. What that means is questions about education, jobs, elder care, and massive technological change, they're all tangled up together. You literally can't separate them. Plus, Hastings already holds transparency and trust as strategic priorities, which is absolutely vital when you're trying to integrate AI into everyday civic life. Because think about it. When you see your neighbors at the local farmer's market or running into each other at the grocery store or a weekend youth game, it completely changes the cost of treating people like mere abstractions. It proves that local communities are the true testing grounds for this tech. The machine is already in the room, so to speak, and a tight-knit town like Hastings offers something global tech giants just can't manufacture in a lab: genuine local legitimacy.
Let's jump to Section 2, a transparent covenant, and designing what we call the Coexistence artifact.
So to manage this massive technological shift, we don't need a new religion. We need a public, self-correcting covenant, a way to make this new power answerable to the people. And it operates on this really clever, four-layered structure. First, it starts with a moral underlayer, basically defining why human existence matters and affirming the inherent dignity of life. Then it moves up to a constitution that sets our rights and limits. Next is the protocol, which dictates what a system is actually allowed to do. And finally, it tops off with a commentary and public ledger to keep the whole thing totally transparent. And the brilliant part is how these layers protect each other. Because let's face it, a protocol without any ethics just becomes highly efficient at doing exactly the wrong thing. Now, you might be wondering, how does a diverse town ever agree on that moral underlayer? Well, this covenant doesn't ask everyone in Hastings to share the exact same theology. Not at all. It operates on this beautiful idea of having one moral floor, but many metaphysical ceilings. It simply asks, what can our different traditions, whether you're Christian, secular humanists, or anything else, what can we promise each other to protect human dignity? We can do that even if we completely disagree on how the universe started or what happens in the afterlife. All right, Section 3. Dignity beyond efficiency. Here, we are exploring the rights of the unoptimized human. These are what we call the rights of the unoptimized human. We're talking about incredibly fundamental things. The right to remain biological, the right to stay offline entirely, the right to actual human presence, and honestly, even the right to just be slow. These concepts guarantee that, say, a grandparent doesn't suddenly lose their worth just because some new software can calculate data 1,000,000 times faster. It ensures that human dignity isn't just a trophy handed out to whoever wins the intelligence contest. Because efficiency should absolutely never become a condition of our citizenship.
The core principle driving all of this is something called mutual aid without hostage-taking. Look, we can and should rely on AI for incredible advancements. Think medicine, accessibility, education. It's a real game changer. But communities like Hastings absolutely must maintain essential, non-digital services for those of us who choose to remain beautifully unoptimized. Because if we build a relationship with technology that doesn't have an exit door, that's not cooperation anymore. That's just infrastructure-level coercion. Moving to Section 4. A multi-species covenant. We're looking beyond just humans and machines.
Because, let's be real, we aren't the only ones sharing this planet. A true, lasting covenant has to protect biological humans and put guardrails on artificial systems, sure. But it also has to step up for animal welfare, our vital ecosystems like the Mississippi River, and of course, our future generations. We have to judge this powerful intelligence by whether it allows other, older forms of life to thrive. Because those local pollinators out in the gardens and the mighty Mississippi, they matter deeply to this town, even if they don't have a chatbot account.
It all boils down to this. The living world was here first. We just can't afford to repeat the ancient mistake of assuming that just because something is the loudest or the most powerful communicator, it's the only being that deserves protection. Throughout history, humanity has repeatedly mistaken sheer power for moral importance. This local covenant, it's our chance right here in Hastings to finally break that cycle.
And that brings us to Section 5, Designing a Humane Future. These are the very real practical questions we need to be asking each other right now.
It all starts at home. Right at the kitchen table, families need to sit down and figure out which struggles, which uncertainties are actually an essential part of growing up. Things that simply shouldn't be outsourced to an algorithm. How do we actually teach our kids the crucial difference between a machine generating eloquent language and a human being with genuine, lived inner experience?
And inside our local schools, educators are going to have to establish some really clear boundaries. Like, when is AI a helpful study buddy? And when must a student absolutely demonstrate their own messy reasoning? We have to figure out the moments when human feedback, from a teacher who actually knows a student's unique quirks, struggles, and triumphs, is completely irreplaceable for their development.
Then there's Main Street. For our local businesses, keeping that tight-knit community trust means asking some pretty tough questions about transparency. Hastings business owners have to decide right now who takes the fall if an automated customer service system gives out bad or even discriminatory advice. Your neighbors deserve to know without a shadow of a doubt when they are talking to a synthetic representative versus a real person. And for city government, true transparency means knowing exactly how Hastings is going to keep the lights on and the water running if these digital systems just suddenly go offline one day. We need to decide which civic decisions are just so massively consequential that they must always be tied to a responsible, flesh-and-blood human official who can be held accountable.
But here is the absolute beauty of all of this. Hastings does not have to write the final, perfect answer for the entire globe. No way. But we could host a public first draft. By just asking these practical, everyday questions out in the open, this incredible intergenerational town can model what it truly means to build shared meaning and protect our most vulnerable. And we can do it without just surrendering to the tech. We can document our disagreements instead of erasing them, show our homework, and freely amend our mistakes as we learn. I want to leave you with a final, somewhat provocative thought to chew on the next time you're taking a walk along the riverfront or grabbing coffee with a neighbor downtown. The future may be coded in distant laboratories somewhere else, but will it become humane right here in Hastings? Your community might just be the exact place where humanity draws a line in the sand, showing the entire rest of the world how to actually use technology without being completely consumed by it. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. I really hope you enjoyed it.